So our first tweet is from Nick Dobos, who is a former Twitter engineer, and he's responding to Boris, who is the creator of Claude Code, on a long tweet that Boris had. We won't go too deep into it, but essentially he's questioning this main piece that's in the tweet, which is Boris saying that he shipped 22 PRs yesterday and 27 the day before. Nick is asking, that's 21 minutes per task in an 8-hour workday, no meetings or breaks. How does one context switch so fast? And this speaks to something interesting that's happening in the industry right now with Claude Code, all the Mac Minis, Claudebot, etc. Is what do PRs look like? We are moving towards best practices where PRs are supposed to be small. We're not supposed to have huge feature branches. So that is good that you can have a bunch of small PRs that go up and get approved quickly. But even with Claude and all of that, at this point, 22 PRs, 21 minutes per task in an 8-hour workday seems a bit unrealistic. It would be interesting to look at these deeper flows. No one's really talking about this. People are launching these new code review tools, and I'm sure a lot of people are still using GitHub UI to do the review manually like we used to do. But it would be interesting to have a deeper breakdown of what are these PRs exactly? Are they fixing bugs that were pushed in previous vibe coded commits, or is it new features, or is it just bugs that kind of pop up out of the deployment of working on a project? And that kind of begs the question as well, is like, are we kind of moving into a revamp of move fast and break things, where it's like you're pushing as much as you can. When the bugs get reported, you make a new PR to fix it. These are really small PRs, and you're just updating things on main constantly, which I think there is some benefit to that. Obviously, you want to have some testing. You want to make sure there's no data reliability issues. But like me, I would say 22 PRs is a bit much, and we kind of need to make sure that we're not going off the deep end in terms of trying to just push out so much code without reviewing and without having a mental model and understanding, and instead using Claude to, make review faster, reply to comments, focus on one PR, get it all the way to prod, and all of these pieces are much more important than just shipping things that'll eventually have bugs. But I'm definitely curious to see how we evolve as we move forward, because I know that we can't have Claude Code running all the time, and you kind of have this roadmap that you can just build out ahead of time and then have Claude Code with Ralph loop on it, make sure it comes to fruition and make sure that it works. And there is a level of like, how much do we trust it, or are we going to review every PR? Right now, I'm kind of on the wave of like every single line of code needs to be reviewed by a human, just because of the risk entailed with pushing things to production that don't work without testing. And also that's why I like in the PRs as well how they give you like a manual test plan, so you can actually have Claude like create the PR. You could make it a draft, but it doesn't do that by default. It makes it an open PR. But you go to the PR, you look at the test plan. It's like 4 or 5 checkboxes. You run up the local server, you spin it up, you run those tests, make sure they work. I guess you could use kind of a integration test system or even browser usage just to see if it updates the database correctly on some like integration test vibes. But at the very least, what I'm doing right now is like, I'll have the PR up, I'll run it locally, I'll confirm it, I'll take screenshots, I'll record a loom or whatever is needed for the approval, and then